Ever wonder how tech is shaking up how we learn about faith?
Hmm. Interesting question.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into that using the CatechismClass.com Parish Coordinator User Manual. It's basically the ultimate guide for anyone running online religious ed, packed with tools and features, and honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is amazing what this platform can do. It's not just about like throwing lessons online.
Right.
It's creating a whole dynamic experience for students of all ages.
So let's jump right in. The manual starts with navigating the CatechismClass.com website. What's the first impression?
Well, the website is very user-friendly.
Oh.
It's like, walking into a very well-organized library. You've got your main navigation bar at the top.
Okay, guiding you.
Takes you to different sections.
Yeah.
Then the content area, that's where the magic happens. And then, of course, you've got your info links at the bottom.
So even if someone's, not a tech expert, they're not going to get lost in the digital stacks.
Exactly. And what's really cool is it's constantly evolving, always adding new features, updating content. They even offer multi-language support, specifically mentions Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Which is huge for reaching diverse communities.
That's impressive. Sounds like they're really dedicated to keeping things fresh and accessible. Now, let's say you're a parish coordinator. You're ready to dive in. What's that process like?
Very straightforward. You just request that parish coordinator account upgrade.
Okay.
And once you're in, boom, welcome my lessons screen.
Okay.
This is your hub. It shows you all the materials you've purchased for your parish.
Hold on. Purchased materials?
Yeah.
Parish coordinators can buy lessons and resources right through the platform.
Exactly. They've got a whole library of materials, different age groups, programs, children's religious ed to adult faith formation.
Oh, wow.
And we'll, get into the specifics of purchasing and assigning those a bit later.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Yeah.
But before we go on that shopping spree, let's talk My Profile. What kind of personal info can you manage there?
Think of it as your digital ID card. Update your contact info, name, email, address, all that. They really stress keeping it up to date.
Yeah.
It's super important for communication and security.
Makes sense. You don't want, important notifications go to the wrong place. Speaking of security, they also have a whole section on password management. Right?
Absolutely. Multiple ways to reset your password if you need to.
Oh, good.
Forgot password link, email verification. They even have this little create password checkbox that you have to click when you change your password.
Oh, interesting.
Just as that extra layer of,
Like a double check.
Yeah. Did I really mean to change that?
Yeah, exactly. So we've covered navigating the site, managing your profile. But what about those features that are exclusive to parish coordinators?
Yeah.
What sets them apart from regular users?
This is where it gets really interesting. Parish coordinators have this My Parish section. It's like their control panel. Everything related to their parish's online program.
Yeah.
View your catechists, adjust parish settings, even send out enrollment notices to parents all in one place.
Wait, automatic enrollment notices.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Oh, it's a game changer for busy parish coordinators. Imagine a few clicks and you've notified all parents about enrollment. You can even customize the message using these legal variables, include specific info like upcoming events or fundraising activities.
That is brilliant. It's like having an assistant for all the admin stuff.
Exactly.
So besides that enrollment feature, what else is in My Parish?
You have a lot of control over your parish settings. Edit basic info like your parish's name, address, but you can also manage more advanced stuff. For example, there's the parish email status.
Okay.
Sends you real-time notifications whenever a student finishes a quiz.
Wow, no more waiting around. That's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So parish coordinators can track student progress as it happens, customize enrollment messages, manage all these different settings. It sounds like they've thought of everything.
They really have. But managing a parish's online religious ed program, it involves more than just communication and settings, right? You also need to keep track of all your materials and students, which can be a lot.
Oh yeah, imagine trying to juggle hundreds of students, different classes, all those digital resources.
Yeah.
Logistical nightmare.
Right. But don't worry, they've got you covered.
Okay.
The manual goes into detail about some tools designed to help coordinators stay organized. For instance, Parish Inventory shows you how many copies of each material you have available to assign.
So no more accidentally over-assigning lessons.
Exactly.
That's a relief.
And then if you're working with a lot of students, you've got Parish User Search. It's a lifesaver. Say you have a student always forgetting their login.
Happens all the time.
Right. With this tool, you can find them in seconds. Just use any detail you have. Their name, grade level, even part of their user ID.
It's like a super search engine just for your parish.
Exactly.
What about students who become inactive? Is there a way to manage those accounts too?
Oh, yeah. They have a specific link for viewing your inactive parish population.
Okay.
Helps you keep your records tidy. But managing student accounts is just one piece, right? We still haven't talked about how those materials are actually designed in the first place.
That's a great point. Let's dive into digital lesson planning. How does that whole process work on CatechismClass.com?
Well, first off, they offer bulk purchase discounts for parishes.
Okay.
Great way to save money and make sure you have enough for everyone.
Encourages parishes to invest in this kind of learning. So once you've stocked up on materials, how do you actually assign them?
The manual's got a clear process. Select the material, highlight it, and hit submit.
Okay, sounds easy enough.
But here's the catch. Can't undo an assignment once it's made.
Oh, interesting.
So coordinators gotta be careful, double check before hitting that button.
No takebacks in the digital classroom.
Right.
Makes sense, though.
You don't want to accidentally assign the wrong lesson to a whole class.
Right. What about different license agreements? I think the manual mentioned options for children's and adult programs.
Oh, yeah. They have different types of licenses to fit different programs.
Yeah.
Like for children's programs, there's one that allows up to 125 students to be registered for a year. Super affordable. And there's a similar one for adult programs with a limit of 200 registrations.
So they're really catering to parishes of all sizes. That's fantastic. Now, let's talk about the catechists. What's their role in all of this?
Catechists, crucial. They support students both online and offline.
Yeah.
The manual points out the Director of Religious Education, or DRE, they're always the primary catechist.
Okay.
But you can create additional catechist accounts and assign specific students to them.
So you could have multiple teachers working with different groups within the same parish.
Exactly. And managing those catechists is super easy, just like student accounts. Add new ones, assign them students, even remove them if needed.
All through my parish.
Yep. It's all about giving parish coordinators the flexibility to structure their programs in a way that works for them.
This is incredible. The level of detail, the control is remarkable. It's like they thought of everything a coordinator might need to manage their online religious education program effectively.
They really have. But we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to explore. Student progress monitoring, all kinds of data analysis tools.
I can't wait to dive deeper. But for now, let's take a break, come back refreshed, and uncover even more of these fascinating features of CatechismClass.com.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into online religious ed with CatechismClass.com.
I'm still amazed by all the features we talked about in part one. This platform is like the ultimate toolbox for any parish coordinator.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
But we've only just begun to explore it, especially when it comes to keeping track of student progress. Making sure they're actually getting the most out of this online learning experience.
Right, we just skimmed the surface of that. I remember the manual mentioned something about randomized quizzes. How does that actually work?
Oh, yeah. The quizzes are presented in a different order for each student. It's kind of like shuffling a deck of cards. Everyone gets the same questions, just not in the same sequence.
So it's like built-in cheat prevention.
Yeah.
Makes sense, especially in an online environment. You want to be sure students are actually learning the material honestly, right?
Exactly. It really shows their commitment to maintaining academic integrity, even in this virtual setting. But it's not just about preventing cheating.
Right.
Randomizing the quizzes helps to ensure that each student gets a fair assessment.
That's a good point. It levels the playing field. Make sure everyone's being assessed on what they actually know. So if I'm getting this right, parish coordinators have access to tons of data, individual quiz results, overall program stats. But what about the students themselves? Do they get any feedback?
Absolutely. The manual really emphasizes that students get immediate feedback after each quiz. They can see what they got right, what they missed, and even review the correct answers.
That's also, it helps reinforce what they've learned.
Yeah.
Allows them to, figure out their strengths and weaknesses and encourages them to go back and study the stuff they maybe didn't get the first time.
Exactly. And remember those retake quizzes we mentioned?
Yeah.
Students get an email notification when a retake's assigned, so they know exactly what to work on.
It's like a personalized study guide.
Yeah.
Speaking of support, the manual mentioned that CatechismClass.com is always there to help. If parishes have questions or technical issues, what does that support actually look like?
Right. Well, the manual doesn't get into specifics, but they really stress their commitment to customer service. They encourage users to reach out through their website or by phone, and they promise a quick, helpful response.
Okay, good to know.
It's like having a tech team on call.
That's reassuring, especially a parish setting.
Oh, yeah. And it really shows their dedication to working with parishes, supporting those religious education efforts. They're not just selling software, they're invested in their user success.
I love that. A true partnership. So we've covered account management, material assignments, tracking student progress, even tech support. Anything else we haven't touched on yet?
There's one last thing I think is really important. The manual at the end, they reiterate CatechismClass.com's dedication to constantly improving. They're always adding new features based on feedback. And they really encourage users to share their thoughts, make suggestions.
So it's not like a static platform. It's always evolving, getting better.
Exactly. They see it as this, ongoing partnership, working together with parishes to create the best possible online religious experience. And they're dedicated to staying ahead of the curve, with technology and teaching methods. Imagine what we're seeing today could be just the beginning.
Wow, that's exciting. It shows how invested they are in the future of religious ed, committed to making it engaging and effective. We've gone through this Parish Coordinator user manual pretty thoroughly. What are your final thoughts so far?
I think it's pretty clear this platform is powerful and well-designed. Gives parishes the tools they need to manage their online programs really effectively.
Yeah.
But what really stands out is their commitment to, supporting parishes and their mission.
I totally agree. It's not just about the fancy features. It's about the people behind it all, right? And their passion for religious ed. They've created something that's both innovative and easy to use with the goal of making faith formation accessible to everyone.
Yeah. And they're doing it by working together, always seeking feedback, always trying to make things better. They see parishes as partners in this, and I think that makes a huge difference.
It really does. Okay, folks, that's it for part 2 of our deep dive into CatechismClass.com. But we're not done yet.
There's more to come.
Join us for the final part, where we'll step back and look at, the bigger picture of online religious ed in the 21st century. We'll explore its potential to change how we learn and teach about faith in this digital age. See you there. Welcome back, Deep Divers. It's the final part of our exploration into CatechismClass.com. Over the last 2 parts, we really got into the details, user accounts, parish settings, managing catechists. It's amazing how much thought went into this whole thing.
It really is. We've seen how user-friendly it is, how it helps parish coordinators, all the data for tracking student progress. It's like they've thought of everything a parish could need for online religious ed.
It's funny. When we started, I thought we'd just be talking about putting lessons online. But CatechismClass.com, it's so much more than that.
It is.
It's like a whole ecosystem for building this vibrant online faith community.
That's a great way to put it. And that sense of community, it's crucial in religious ed. It's not just about memorizing facts.
Right.
It's about sharing those experiences, exploring faith together, and building relationships that, really nourish our spiritual lives.
Exactly. And that brings us to, I think, a really important question. What does the rise of online religious education platforms like this mean for the future of faith formation? Are we moving away from traditional classrooms into a totally digital world?
That's the question a lot of people are asking, right? And, well, the future's always a bit uncertain. I don't think online religious ed is about replacing the traditional ways.
Okay, yeah.
It's more about expanding our choices, offering flexibility, reaching people who maybe couldn't access in-person programs.
So it's not an either thing. It's about embracing both the traditional and the innovative.
Exactly.
Using all the tools we have to create a richer, more diverse learning experience.
Imagine students in remote areas connecting with expert catechists, people with busy schedules learning at their own pace, individuals with disabilities accessing materials tailored to their needs. That's the kind of future platforms like this can help build.
That's a future where faith formation is, more inclusive, accessible, more engaging than ever. It's amazing to think about the possibilities. But with all these advantages of learning online, some people might worry that we're losing something, moving away from that traditional classroom. What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely a valid concern. You can't deny the power of face-to-face interactions, that sense of community you get when you gather in person. There's this shared energy, this feeling of belonging that's harder to replicate online.
Yeah, you're right. It's that human connection, feeling part of something bigger. It's essential to a faith community.
And that's why it's so important for online platforms to really focus on fostering those connections. It can't just be about putting lessons online.
Right.
We need to create ways for students to connect with each other, with their catechists, with the broader faith community.
So it's about finding that balance, right? Using technology while still making sure those human connections are there, those are at the heart of religious ed.
Exactly. And I think the online programs that will be most successful are the ones that can strike that balance, create that sense of community, even in a virtual space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine online discussions where students can share thoughts and questions, virtual group activities to encourage collaboration, and maybe even occasional in-person meetups.
Those are fantastic ideas,
Yeah.
blending the best of both worlds, the digital and the physical, to make a really holistic experience.
Exactly. And as technology keeps evolving, just imagine the possibilities for online religious ed. Think virtual reality experiences, transporting students to different times and places, interactive games that make learning fun, personalized learning paths, adapting to each student's needs.
Mind-blowing. We're on the edge of a revolution in religious ed, and platforms like CatechismClass.com are leading the charge. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope listeners will take away from all this?
I hope they see that online religious ed isn't a threat to tradition. It's a chance to grow, to innovate, to reimagine faith formation for the 21st century. Make it more accessible, more engaging, relevant for people of all ages and backgrounds.
I couldn't agree more. It's an exciting time to be involved in religious education.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we had the chance to explore all of this together. Who knew a simple user manual could lead us to such big questions, right?
Yeah. It just shows that even the most technical document can get us thinking about, the future of faith and learning.
Well said. And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the world of CatechismClass.com. It's been an amazing journey, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep diving deep into the topics that spark your curiosity.